Yo, 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 welcome back. Welcome back. Man, here we are, y'all. We done made it. The sixth. I know. It's just crazy to me. Every time we do these firesides, it blows my mind. These weeks are just speeding by. Um, and with that being said, like hopefully, with the quickness of these weeks, we can hopefully accelerate to a point where we can interact again, y'all. Cause I'm gonna be honest, I ain't been able to hug my mom. It's sad, and I really do want to hug my moms. I want to hug my dad, and I want to hug like everybody. Like I just need to be touched. Nah, but for real though, it is kind of crazy not being able to really like interact with people, talk to people, except for with the screen, in front of you. I didn't think we'd get to this point this quick, but damn, here we are, y'all. So, if you do have the ability to be around somebody that you love, just give them a hug and hold on just an extra couple seconds, just to let them know that you're there for them and you're still fighting this too. So today I want to kind of talk about mm, nothing really in particular. I've just been seeing a couple articles, been reading them, and so certain stuff like the meat packing plants and stuff like that, they were forced to close and they're you know forced to back open, and so I have a few vegan friends and stuff like that, and they're always constantly telling me like, bro, you need to stop eating that meat, and they're right. I mean, obviously, but it's a process. It takes time and stuff like that. But I was talking to one of my friends, one of the OMP members, Mark with a Q, and he's a vegan, and we were speaking kind of about the detriment that meat processing does, just morally and stuff like that. But then he also alluded to the fact that probably the reason Trump continued to keep the meat packing plants open is because he himself is a pretty big carnivore. I think they say he eats like steak every day, which would make sense because to a degree, like steak is almost like a status symbol when it comes to meat eaters and stuff. Like you got your filet mignon and stuff like that, and either you eating that low ground beef or you eating that steak, and steak kind of makes it seem like you're at a raised up kind of status or elevated level of stuff like that. So I could see Trump making sure that he had like a big porterhouse every night or some shit like that. Hopefully he chose him. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't like that man. I'm not wishing death on him. I just kind of wish that he would just not be our president anymore in whatever way it could happen. But anyways, aside from that, it looks like Trump is actually being sued for one of the things that he tried to do with the stimulus package. So if y'all have heard that if you're married to a immigrant or illegal immigrant or whatever, or immigrant without a social security number, then you won't qualify for the stimulus package as a family. Like you can't use your family. Yeah. And to a degree, I understand it, but it does seem a little unconstitutional. So there's a guy from Illinois, I believe, who went ahead and opened the case or whatnot. And honestly, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. But it's interesting. It seems that he just consistently has this pattern of trying to I don't know, find the most absurd ways to go at immigrants. It doesn't matter what it is, like he will find a way to do such. And it's amazing that this man can literally find this many, like just, I don't even have like the right word for it. I don't want to use solutions because I don't think they're good solutions, but I mean, it's like to him, stopping an immigrant situation, it's just gonna fix everything. Like he's that one track mind, it seems. So I don't know. But damn, shit's really really going crazy. Yesterday we kind of talked about the three proposals that are coming out of the House as far as the next part of our stimulus packages, CARES 2.0, if you would. So we talked about the Emergency Money for the People Act that was sponsored by Ro Khanna and Tim Ryan. We spoke about the Cancel Mortgage and Rate or Rent Act, sponsored by Ilhan Omar, and then we also talked about the Get America Back to Work Act, sponsored by Senator. Oh, excuse me, got something in my throat. Josh Hawley. I apologize. But yeah, so honestly, thinking more into it, the third one, I don't have too big of an issue with it, but thinking a little bit more onto it, I'm starting to feel like it doesn't necessarily address most of the people that are in the country at the moment. It kind of just simply addresses the unemployment issue, but it doesn't do anything for the essential workers, doesn't do anything for first responders, doesn't really do anything for anybody other than companies that might have had to lay people off. And so I feel like if you're going to do the 80% tax payroll refund, then I feel like you should probably include it in another bill that addresses everybody, or to a degree has something for most people rather than just kind of a package, designed to really help a targeted few. Not saying that it's not going to help a lot of people, because like I said, we don't know how many claims there are when it comes to unemployment right now. So obviously getting those down and getting people back to work would definitely help. But I feel that there's all kinds of other people that are going to desperately need help as well. So maybe our next package should kind of address everything and not corporations. That'd be something different. Who knows? Doubt it. But yeah, so that's just kind of where we are right now. It's election year, but it doesn't really seem like there's a race anymore. You know what I mean? Like, it started out like Bernie and Biden, and it's like, yeah, one of them is going to get it, and then they're going to go against Trump. But now that Biden seems to be the clear front runner, it's just like Trump 2020. You know what I'm saying? Like, not supporting him, but doesn't it just feel like it's almost inevitable? Like, what has Joe Biden done in the past month to show you that he is qualified to take over if he is the one who ends up winning? Like, he's not doing anything. He ain't doing shit. He actually trying to hide from this sexual assault case that many people don't really want to speak about. I don't know why. Maybe it's because y'all realize that once Bernie done left and you only got Biden, you don't want to mess it up even more. Well, that doesn't matter because this shit's gonna come out. The sexual allegations or the sexual assault is gonna come out, and then the Biden name, like profiting off of the name and whatever Hunter Biden's been doing and all that other kind of stuff is gonna come out. And like when you're going up against somebody who has no shame, then it doesn't really matter how you try to attack them because none of your hits, no, nothing's gonna hit. Trump has no shame. Like he doesn't care. There's nothing that you can really do to get him off of his game because he has an ability to adapt like I've never seen. He lives in a reality unknown to anybody else except for himself. And he has somehow figured out a way to make us all somehow a part of that reality, even though we don't see it the same way he does. And these are dangerous times, y'all. When you have somebody like that in charge, well, it's just too much unpredictability. Like you really have no idea what could happen at any given moment. This is a volatile character who has a poor, poor emotional maturity, poor intellectual maturity, just all around childlike individual who is in charge of what was, the world's leading country. I don't know where we're at right now because a lot of people on the outside have kind of looked at us like, damn, we used to envy you. We used to look at y'all as the top, as this, that, and the other. But now we pity you. We pity you for being trapped under a tyrant who has no idea what he's doing, but is still allowed to lead. And I appreciate that's the sentiment and the care and the concern because we feel it too. That shit sucks. Like we don't really, we don't know how we ended up where we're at, but we do know that it's time to try to do something to get out of it. That's kind of where I'm at with it. And I know y'all are tired of politics, man. Fuck politics. Let's talk about some other shit. So look, what I've been jamming lately, y'all. You see, I just kind of jumped into that, man. Look, I've been going back. So growing up, I had a clique of friends, like a group of guys, and we jammed to the same music, but we would go through different trends, different styles, different artists. We had like a Hypnotized Camp Posse phase where we were just listening to nothing but 3 6 Mafia and Project Pat and Lil White and stuff like that. And then we had this Texas phase. Man, that was my favorite phase. I swear, there were so many dope ass artists that we would listen to, and they seemed like they were just leagues ahead of so many other people who were getting shine, but they just weren't, getting that kind of clout, and it just never made sense to me. So I went back through a couple of YouTube playlists of some of these old songs, these old Camille and Paul Wall songs, like so underrated. So many people talk about the way that Drake is able to harmonize his hooks and then kind of carry that melody and then go straight into a verse, but he can't do shit in comparison to the way that my man Camille used to lace these tracks, man. His voice was so smooth, but the way that he would like hit verses, like he was a top tier rapper to me at the moment. There was nobody better at rapping than Camille at that time. When he was doing the mixtape Messiahs, like he was literally the shit, like the greatest rapper at the time, but nobody really cared because there was a guy named Lil Wayne who was a lot more popular. And at that point, everybody believed Wayne was the best rapper because he told everybody he was, and because he started going on this run that was never seen before. Like the way that Wayne took over commercial hip hop, aside from Drake, nobody has ever really like done that. Like Wayne was the hottest thing out there, and like he could do no wrong. I don't know how many features he had dropped, but it just got to the point where like you just heard Young Moolah Baby, and you know he was about to snap. So like just going back and listening to these songs, man, just put me in a great mood, keeps my vibrations up, and keeps me like really at a place of peace. So yeah, just jamming to that. Been jamming to a lot of lo-fi hip hop, obviously keeping me into a great state of mind. And I don't know, just music, man, it's there for us, y'all. It is one of the greatest gifts we have ever received. And the greatest thing is we're going to continue to get it because the more artists that are out there continuously producing music, the more gifts we're able to receive. So, y'all, support your local artists because once that guy that you listen to every day on Spotify, he was a local guy at a bar, at a comedy club, doesn't matter. Support local artists because you never know where that guy that you saw at karaoke one night could be in 5 years. So that's all I'm saying. So yeah, that's what I've been jamming. What I've been watching though, I look. So I finally got to the season finale of Prodigal Son, and I don't know if y'all have been watching it. It's Fox's new show about this serial killer. Okay, it's not it is a serial killer, but it's not a serial killer because the serial killer is the dude's dad, and it's really the protagonist is this guy named Malcolm, and he's kind of like an FBI my bad. He's an FBI profiler, right? And his dad is the serial killer, and they got this estranged relationship, and it's so intriguing because like psychologically the way that you get to see the interactions and the way that these people look at cases and the way that they talk to each other. And I don't know. It's a dope show. Hasn't been renewed yet, but the finale, there was a part like right at the end where you're like, oh shit, it's about to happen. Like you see it. It's a click. And if you are psychologically in tuned, or if you study a lot of psychological concepts or phenomenons and stuff like that, you'll see it. There's a look in a certain character's eye that just takes over, and then it happens. I'm not gonna tell you what happens. You gotta watch it, but it is a hell of a show, and you will binge it. I promise. And speaking of binging, I've been binging some of these Netflix reality shows, and to be honest with y'all, I have one issue with them. The issue is if you can binge the show, you don't really get to kind of come to appreciate the time lapses. So, like, if it's a 10 episode, reality show, that would come out week after week after week after week, then you get a chance to really establish emotional, connections to certain characters. But when you just binge it, it just kind of seems like just one quick show. So you don't really kind of understand how everybody seems to, know each other like really deep and intimately when you've only seen like interactions of 5 minutes at the most of everybody. So one thing that I would say to Netflix is kind of how you did Love is Blind, just kind of don't drop all episodes of a reality show at once and allow your viewers to kind of build an emotional connection with characters, so that way if somebody leaves the show they can actually feel like, oh damn, not that guy. Because there's a guy who left the show on Too Hot to Handle, and I was just like, all right, cool. But you see people like crying and doing, he just, I don't know why he's leaving and all, and it's like it doesn't even make sense. It's like, how did y'all get this close? How did you build this much of a bond in like 5 minute segments? So I would really implore looking deeply into how to kind of, captivate the audience for 10 weeks rather than 10 episodes. But yeah, man, it is interesting. If y'all watch Love is Blind and y'all thought that was bad, Too Hot to Handle is way worse. But it's like just junk TV that you just can't stop watching. I'm sorry, y'all. It's my vice. It is my vice. And also, I went and took a objective look at Django Unchained. I've watched it numerous times. I'm a Tarantino fan. The only thing that I really wish that he would stop doing so much is just using the nigger word like it's just regular context for everybody to use. Like his movies say it so much, it's almost like you thought it was written by the Boondocks creator or some shit like that. Like he uses this word as if he was one. And that's just something that I've always kind of like questioned. But once you get past it, the dialogue is just brilliance. Like he can write scenes. He can write. He can draw anticipation, and just watching certain camera movements and stuff like that. There was this one scene where it pivots from Jamie Foxx to Samuel L. Jackson's character to another like actual slave. So you get to see three different types of African American mentalities in one thing without actually even recognizing it. You see the guy who's come for revenge in Jamie. You see the old Uncle Tom character in Samuel L. Jackson's character, and then you see the slave who has no real, one thing or the other. He's just part of a system. And it was so interesting, like to watch how they look at each other, the hate and the contempt that they have for each other. It was really, really intricate. So, like I said, there's a lot of really good things within this movie. So it's an interesting one, and I know it's very hard for people to kind of like watch it because, like I said, it's a lot of nigga coming from a lot of white people. Even Leonardo DiCaprio said that he was uncomfortable even doing the movie, but that's my boy, Leo. That's that actor. So he did it. He did what he did, and he had some amazing scenes as Calvin Candy. It was an amazing, amazing movie when you get past certain things that you might be hung up on. Same thing with Hateful Eight. I mean, there's a lot of nigga, but honestly, it's a good movie, and it shows you how to really, really do suspense and how to really, really write dialogue that is engaging. Yeah. So, last thing I want to talk about before I get on out of here. I've been thinking a lot about this. When I was growing up, the one thing that I wanted to do more than anything, I wanted to be the greatest rapper alive. And I know you've heard me say this numerous times. We even dropped the One Time for OMP music video. And like I just knew it. Like that's what I wanted. I felt like the only way I could really just tell the world all the things that mattered to Michael Jones, or all the things that Jizzle the Jokester thought was, impressive or amazing, had to be written down in a rhythmic form and then thrown onto a beat and then performed in front of people. And then controversial conversation came. And I found a new dream. A dream that I never even knew I had dreamt before. Being able to do this is something that I would never give away. I would never, ever give this up. You see, sometimes we believe that we failed at something we wanted so much. We believe that it was the thing that we were supposed to be doing, not this person or not that person. And when we felt like we never got our opportunity, or when we felt like it didn't work out for us, our dream was over. But nah, you have other dreams. You have dreams that actually mean more to you once you have a chance to actually step into them. I never knew that sitting in front of this camera and talking to y'all would give me this much fulfillment. And whether it touches somebody or reaches somebody, that's fine, because it reaches me every time that I get to upload a segment. So, look, man, if there's something that you love to do, if there's something that you want to do, it's begging you, calling you, give it a shot. And guess what? If it doesn't work out, try the next thing. Because I'm telling you, you're going to find your controversial conversation, and people are going to listen.